Hello, my luminaries. I decided to do another reading because there was something about the last reading I just posted that kind of stuck with me. Now, this is a very late reading for me. It's 12:12 a.m., so technically it's Sunday, November 16th. But I was here, the cards were here, the message was still sitting in my head, and I could have waited till Sunday morning when I woke up, but that wasn't going to work for me. I felt like it was a message that needed to come forward sooner rather than later. So I have my Oracle deck, I have a Tarot deck already. And the message that I'm going to go ahead and put these down while I grab my notes. The message that I got during meditation was um, there was a point in the reading I posted earlier today where I talked about how the divine masculine energy had sustained a deep kind of emotional pain in their journey. Now, with the divine masculine energy, that's not gender, that's just the energy that exists. Everyone has masculine and feminine. Think about your heart space as a yin and yang, okay? But this particular person who is resonates in my channeling as a divine masculine, someone who's passionate, someone who takes action, experienced an emotional pain that kind of left them feeling stuck or frozen. So I have my phone with the notes on it that I did during a meditation, and what I got from the original message that stuck with me was the rune Isa. Now, the rune Isa is literally kind of translates to the word ice in kind of the rune language, but it also means challenges, it means barrier, it means introspection, and sometimes it means clarity, and what's the other word I was thinking? Well, let's just stick with clarity because I can't quite remember the other word I had put down. But going back to the imagery, the divine masculine had sustained a deep emotional wound, whether it was a disappointment of family, disappointment in friendship, or a big disappointment in love. It after this kind of energy of feeling hurt and wounded, it's like they were frozen in time. That's when the Isa rune popped into my head. And I was seeing kind of like a snowy tundra. Lots of snow, lots of ice. And you'll have to forgive me because I'm a video game player, and so it makes me think of the higher elevations in Skyrim where there's these snowy blizzards, and sometimes you see these like mountain trolls, or they're like yetis or something like that. But it was like snowy, cold, challenge, block, and then introspection, that word. And it made me feel that at the time the divine masculines may have been feeling like, why is this happening to me? Every time I try to move forward or get this job or have a decent relationship or repair my relationship with my family or friends, pardon my French, this shit always happens. This deep pain. And there was something about Isa that made me feel like the universe wasn't holding the divine masculine in this frozen time, quote unquote, for cruelty, but to help them learn. And here's the thing during meditation that I got was that I got the inclination that this divine masculine kind of, I don't want to be triggering, but tends to bend who they are to cater to the person that they are in connection with. So if they are in the presence of their family, whether it be their father or their mother, they sort of bend and move and shape and present themselves so that they gain and garner the approval of their parents or with their friends or sometimes even with their lovers. They become what they believe their lovers want, their friends want, their employers want. they bend and shape themselves so much that sometimes over time they feel like they've lost themselves or they don't know who they are. And this frozen period of time after this great pain wasn't meant to be cruel. It was meant to hold this masculine still. Because again, through meditation, I was getting this masculine tends to jump from friend group to friend group if there's discord, or relationship to relationship, to soothe, their heartbreak, or to confide in different family members to get someone on their side. They're constantly kind of moving and shaping and placating others for their approval so that they can feel worthy. The universe is holding them still, kind of like, for some reason, I'm seeing like a little sparrow, and somehow it's got its legs all mixed up with twine for whatever reason, and I see a pair of hands that are trying to hold this bird still, gently but firmly, so it could unwind the twine from its feet, so that it would no longer be inhibited when it tried to travel about, when it tried to fly, when it tried to eat, when it tried to rest, because it was always at this disadvantage of having its feet all bound up. And the bird was flapping, almost erratically, terrified that it was in the hands of this huge person with big hands, this tiny little bird. But these hands, the universe, was holding this masculine or this sparrow still as a way to say, heal yourself. Figure out who you are again. Figure out what it is you want again. So that way, the next time you find yourself in a situation where you are pursuing a new relationship, pursuing new friends, or trying to heal a relationship with a family member, you have healthy boundaries because you see who you are and you stop trying to be who they want you to be. You start being who you actually are. And people start seeing the masculine as people that they want to share their lives with, not what they can get from the masculine. That's the kind of the energy that I was getting at. Sorry, let me put my phone down. And it was interesting that it came in so strong, and I was really going to wait until tomorrow morning to do it, but I couldn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some oracle cards. I'm going to read them, and we'll just do some tarot to see what does the masculine feel currently, and then what is advice from spirit. All right. So what is messages, an overall energy message for this masculine? So we have two. First one is, it says higher power. Next one is strength. And then the last one is celebration. I'm going to pull two more. One of an energy that either the masculine doesn't quite see yet or has a hard time explaining or coming to terms with. Mystery. And then an energy that spirit wants them to pay attention to. Slow it down. Okay. So I'm going to put those aside, and let's get that book out. Let's see what it is that spirit is trying to communicate to the masculine right now. We're going to start with what it is that the masculine doesn't see or hasn't yet come to terms with. So mystery, and it says the dark side of the moon there. Okay. So look for, oops. Okay, so dark side of the moon. Drawing this card suggests that the way forward is not yet brightly lit, so to speak. There is a mystery surrounding. You probably already sense that. It could be that someone isn't being entirely upfront. Don't be alarmed. It may simply be that whoever this question involves doesn't yet feel ready to show all of their cards. Or perhaps the situation you're inquiring hasn't yet fully evolved to its final state. And at this point, it's just impossible to know the answer to your question. The best thing to do is to work with what you do know and surrender to the need to know everything. On the one hand, it could be that the answer to your question is shrouded in darkness because there is some foul play happening. But on the other hand, it could be that you just don't need to know more, at least not yet. Stay optimistic now rather than focusing on any fears you may have around your situation. Some other additional meanings would be that you have free will. Some things are better left unsaid. Trust the universe and see what happens. Face any fears around your question and see that your glass is half full. The symbolism of the dark side of the moon is that it's super mysterious. We never see it from here on Earth because of the way that the moon turns. We know that it's there. We know that it's unknowable. This only makes us more inquisitive about its mystery. So that's like on the dark side or the shadow side, or what's left unsaid. And I think with it being an energy that perhaps the masculine doesn't see, or that is not yet come to terms with, is the uncertainty of it. I think the feeling that I get from this masculine is that they like to have very clear and very sound answers. They don't like ambiguity. I mean, who does? Who does love ambiguity? But this particular person really has a hard time with ambiguity, and that makes him anxious, that makes him nervous, the mystery, the uncertainty, the unknown. What they're not perhaps allowing themselves to say out loud, outright, is, I'm uncertain. I don't know. Maybe that in and of itself is hard to say to people, to ask when they ask for help or they ask for guidance. Maybe it's hard for this masculine to say, I don't know. Okay, so let's move on to the higher power, or what says the moon goddess. Okay, let's see. Oh, there it goes. Sorry. It took me a minute to find it. Okay, so the moon goddess. The situation you're asking about may feel impossible, but you are magical and have a celestial support. The goddess is on your side. Whatever you're facing, she's bringing you healing, grace, and blessings. You are facing soul challenge right now, and you need to move through it to know how strong you are. Mere mortals often give up when they face tough challenges, but if you are reading this, you're not a mere mortal. You know that you are connected to a higher power, including all the goddesses who are there for you. Tap into that power, and the goddess is wise and wants to guide you. Connect by getting out in nature under the moon, or through chanting or meditation, whatever feels right to you. Which goddess should you reach out to? That's entirely up to you. If you don't already have a favorite goddess, search online and see who you're most drawn to. Whatever you're going through now, you don't need to handle it on your own. The goddess awaits. So some additional messages are connect to the divine, to, gods, deities, celestial bodies, the universe. Spend a month with the moon. So if you don't already have like a connection to the moon, it might be nice just to, like it says, spend a month with the moon. Maybe just talk to the moon. And I know maybe for some people that might seem a little silly, but similar to journaling, because I feel journaling really, really helps a lot. Sometimes just saying what you feel out loud is cathartic. Saying it to the moon, a celestial body known for its healing magic, its soft, gentle glow, its intuition, why not? Ask for help. Don't go it alone. Call in the goddess. So about the symbol of the goddess, it's easy for us to act from our ego and think that we can solve our issues on our own. However, there are higher powers just waiting for us to ask for help. They can even help you via these very oracle cards, so pay attention. So if you don't work with deities, it may just be your higher self, the universe, the planets, any celestial body, gods, deities, ancestors. You are not alone in this. But I do love the idea of speaking to the moon, spending a month with the moon. If people celebrate being able to journal and that helps you kind of move through your feelings and kind of process, why not also doing, like, I don't know, I guess you could call it audio journaling, but it's not necessarily recorded. Verbal journaling, I guess. Just say how you feel out into the sky, to the moon, even if nobody hears it. Maybe it's more comfortable for you if nobody hears it. Maybe you're not ready to talk to a friend or a counselor yet. Maybe you just need to get it out of your system to feel that, like, release. But don't feel like you don't have people around you. Okay, so let's move on to the yang moon, which the yang in yin and yang is masculine. Sorry, I said yang so many times. But yang is masculine energy. So let's see where that is. So 118. Okay, let's see. Okay, 118. Yang, which is also strength. This card calls for you to draw upon your inner resources. It's time for you to step into your power. If someone or something has been making you feel less than, consider the possibility that this is actually a soul challenge to you from the universe, designed to urge you to believe in yourself more. It's time to shine. You have everything you need to achieve your goals, but you need to show the universe your resilience and strength. Now is the time for you to move out from the shadows and into the light. There's nothing to be gained from cowering the shadows at this time. False humility won't get you anywhere. Don't sell yourself short. Don't even try to convince yourself that you don't have what it takes, because you really do. The first step now is to think about all those times in your past when you got through big challenges. Doing that made you the person you are today, and you have all the resources you need to keep going. And that makes me think of this quote for the divine masculines who are listening, or for their counterparts if you're a divine feminine. This is something that I would tell you as well, is if you're here listening to this reading right now, you have survived 100% of your most terrible, awful, painful days. That is your resilience right there. And there's something that tells me that pain that the divine masculine went through, that emotional pain that almost made them feel frozen or stuck, whatever it was one of those moments that it was hard. It was like, was that trials and tribulations? Is that what they call it? It was a dark night of the soul. But again, if you are seeing this, if you're listening to this, you survived that. You moved past that. Maybe you're still healing from it. Maybe you are well past the healing, but you survived it. You have inner strength to keep going forward, to self-actualize, to self-heal, and to move into alignment with what you truly want and desire. Not to stifle your shine, not to not say what you need to say or how you feel or what you want. Harness that strength. So what it says is, for additional meanings, is don't be a wallflower. Go first. Transformation is possible now. Be bold. Make the first move. And about the symbol, the yang in yin and yang can be seen to represent the masculine energies in all of us, versus the yin, which represents the feminine energy, like I was pointing out earlier. Okay, so now we're going to look at moon dance. Let's see. Okay, so moon dance, which is celebration. This card brings good news, and you will soon have good reason to celebrate. Expect good things and positive developments. Think about all the good in your life at this very moment. What do you have to be grateful? Be grateful for it now. Do a little dance of gratitude. Stay focused on solutions, not problems. Open your heart and be as happy as you can with the way things are now. Being upbeat and about the good things in your life is hugely important when it comes to creating the life that you want. It's as though better things come to people who are already buzzing. The essential message of this card is you'll get what you want once you love what you already have. Oh, I love that. You'll get what you want once you already love what you have. And this is one of the things that I like to say during the readings. I am a love reader, but sometimes I touch on some just general, topics. But mostly it's like if you want something to change in your life, if you want love or an opportunity or a career or a collective or travel, and you're focused on what you don't have, it's going to be a lot harder for it to come in, because the first wall that we have to overcome, the first hurdle, is our own self-doubt. So if we're not believing in ourselves, or not loving ourselves, if we're not already thankful for the things that we have and the lessons that we've learned, then it's going to be a lot harder for us to have that come in. But if we're already like, I love myself, I love my life, I want to travel, but right now I love exactly where I am at. I love the connections that I have. I love the lessons that I learned. Maybe not the lessons itself, but the lesson I learned from whatever I went through. And I'm happy with myself. And when you're happy with yourself, that happiness is reflected back to you from the universe, because the universe is like a giant mirror. It's going to give you what you put out. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. Feeling grateful is key. If you're going through a situation, and also I don't want to minimize what you're going through. Sorry, I just need to stop. I don't want to minimize what you're going through, but it's also important to realize that we are the maestros of our own destiny. I myself have gone through some serious shit in my life, and a lot of emotional pain. But I also recognize the positives about myself and the things that I did have. And while it was hard to keep my head up and smile, because I didn't like to pretend that I wasn't happy, but I also didn't want to forget that there were really great things in my life. And I think that's what it is. It's like keeping perspective, not letting the sadness or the hard lessons drown you in sadness or despair. So, feeling grateful is the key. If you're going through a situation so tough that it's hard to be grateful, dig deeper for something you're happy about. I guess I could have just kept reading, or could have kept reading because it said it there. Good times are ahead. You have to believe it. And this card is a sign urging you to be more optimistic. You have every reason for optimism. And so some basic messages for this card is there is good news coming. Be sociable. Praise your life. Take up dancing. Say yes to a party. Now, the take up dancing one is a little silly, I think, because not everybody wants to dance, and some people worry about having 2 left feet. But take up an activity that brings you joy. Dancing, singing, hiking, swimming, playing sports, going to karaoke, whatever it is, And say yes to a party. About the symbol, sometimes you need to celebrate before you really have something to celebrate. Make a life a celebration, and not just on special occasions. And then what Spirit would like to say as the message to the masculine is slow it down. So that's Moonstone. Let's see. Oops. Did I skip it? Got it. Nope, keep going. Oh. Well, that's not it either. Hold on. Let me just go to the contents here. 96. I must have just missed it. There we go. So, slow it down as the last card. The heart wants what it wants, and it wants the heart wants what the heart wants, and wants it when it wants it. But the timing isn't always right. Maybe you want something before the other person is ready for it, or vice versa. Suffice to say that you may need to slow things down. This isn't just about patience, it's about actively slowing down. This kind of reminds me of what I was saying about at the beginning when I was talking about the divine masculine having gone through something really, painful, whether it's romance, friendship, family, but having gone through something painful, and the everything kind of felt frozen, like they were stuck. And I was seeing like hands holding a bird, and the bird was struggling, but the hand was just trying to hold it still so it could heal, so they could help it. It was like the universe wanted the energy to heal, to stop rushing forward, to stop trying to seek solace in other love relationships, or becoming a workaholic, or just jumping to the next group of friends, or maybe, having a couple of drinks, to just slow down. Take the time to heal and figure out who you are again, and figure out what you want without worrying about what other people expect of you. Because if you know who you are, you know what you want, and you present your most authentic self, then the person that connects with you will see your worth and fall in love with who you actually are, not what you're presenting because you think that's what they want. Because then that person wants to share their life with you and wants to get to know you rather than what they can get from you. So, for slowing it down, this isn't about patience, it's about actively slowing down. Stop pushing too hard. Be strong and shine your light, and focus on what you want and not what you don't want. You are stronger than you know. The situation you're asking about is fertile. Be graceful as you wait, without trying to force anything or anyone. Trying to rush a person or a situation isn't likely to work out for you right now. So do what you can to take a step back. You might like to hold a moonstone. So if you have moonstone, it's a wonderful healing and very intuitive and gentle stone. So if you have one, you might want to hold the moonstone while you meditate. And to help stay patient and allow events to unfold as they will, this is a sublimely feminine stone that has strong associations with the moon. Explore your goddess energy. Stay strong and centered in your own power instead of dissipating your energy focusing on what you can't control. So, some other meanings are perhaps a birth of some sort, whether or not it's actual pregnancy or the birthing of a new chapter, a new life. Maybe you're adding something to your family, whether you're like adopting a pet, or you're starting a new chapter in your life at work, you've made a new friend, you're connecting with a new love, any type of new life, new creation. Love is also coming into your life. Perhaps think about talking to a female mentor. Try to calm yourself. Breathe in and breathe out. So about this symbol, the moonstone. Moonstone is a truly luminous crystal. It's strong and it knows all things come to those who wait. So, I know that like the last reading and this one, I did all the oracles first, but I thought it was really important to do that because of the fact of the energy that I was getting. So, masculine energy is having a hard time like either accepting that in life there is some uncertainty and that sometimes you have to persevere, take the steps forward, even though you can't see the full path leading to where it is. And a lot of the times that is how life unfolds. We don't always have a roadmap to where we're going. I've said it before in my readings, is like, you are the maestro of your own destiny. You create the path. It appears as you walk it. So you can't look in front of you and say, I don't see a path. Well, you haven't started walking yet. This energy feels like this, either again, an energy that's having a hard time admitting to this, or maybe hasn't even realized this yet, but it is like kind of the unease with the unknown, the unease with the uncertainty, or maybe this masculine has a hard time even expressing those feelings of, I just don't know, I feel uncertain, I don't know what to do. With this energy here, it feels like what's currently around the masculine, pardon me, my throat chakra is getting really dry. That makes me think that the masculine does sort of have a hard time expressing how they really feel, and when they feel lost or it feels like they don't know what to do, what steps to take. Here it feels like the universe is saying, trust in yourself, trust in your intuition, whether it is your higher self, the cosmos, the universe, God, deity, ancestor. Allow yourself to reach out for help when when you need it, pardon me. Whether it is a ancestral or spiritual guide, or maybe someone close to you, you're not alone. There's guidance for you. I feel like it's ancestral or spiritual, but also to remember who you are. And there's something about, like, the masculines, you know who you are. And I've said this before because this same kind of group of masculine comes through a lot. It almost feels like at one point the masculines knew who they were. Maybe even they've even said this out loud, where they felt like, when I was younger, I was more confident. I doubted myself less. And somewhere along when they felt that way to now, they're not sure what happened or why this happened. Again, when I say masculine energy, I just feel like I'm feeling guided to say this. It is not, genders. This is about energy. This is about action and passion, structure and order and all that kind of stuff. So, you can be anybody in any body and harness masculine energy. And this is saying, harness that masculine energy. You are strong and you know yourself to be strong, but for some reason you've kind of let who you are slip through your fingers. Now is the time to remember. Now is the time to celebrate who you are, your life, your accomplishments, your friends, those things that make you happy, whether it's dancing, singing, hiking, playing video games, playing D&D, going to karaoke, watching the game with your buddies, whatever it is. But more importantly, what Spirit wants you to know is, when that time comes, when you are so close to getting what it is that you want, whether it's love, a job opportunity, an experience, an endeavor, traveling, take it slow. You don't have to rush forward like a bull. It's fine to let your intentions be known, but you want to take it slow for two reasons. One, take it slow for yourself. Remember, Isa, ice. The last emotional hurt or pain that you had, there was that frozen moment. Snow covered everything and you felt kind of stuck. Spirit was trying to get you to focus on yourself, not to get yourself involved with new friends, a new job, a new community, a new love, to focus on yourself first. So when the next opportunity of love, friendship, community, XYZ comes in, you have a better understanding of who you are, where your boundaries are, your self-worth, your value, and to make sure that you're getting your needs met in whatever way it means, as well as the other person that you're involved. Just take it slow. You don't have to rush. So let's get some tarot for the masculines to see where they're at today, what they might be feeling. We've got a lot of great messages from Spirit. Now let's just see. Let's just see where the divine masculines are at. Okay. Where are the divine masculines at currently? Oops, I didn't really see that fall off the bottom of my deck. All right. So we have the Wheel of Fortune. Divine masculines. Am I telling you what you already know? I got that inkling from the other reading that you're already on that healing journey. But I felt inclined to come in because that rune Isa, seeing the eyes, seeing the bird struggle, even though someone or the universe is trying to help. So take time with yourself. But there's something. This is for you. This is how y'all are feeling. Wheel of Fortune. it almost feels like you have just come out of dark night of the soul. You've just come out of some serious shit, and you are thinking, nope, now it's time. I really, really want to turn things around. Like, I just heard, I'm done with the old me, or the old way, or the old chapter. Like, you are looking ahead, it feels like. Yes, oh my God. Well, then we've got Six of Wands. This is victory. This is being lauded for your efforts. A glorious win, as it says. You know you want to move forward. You know you want to build a life that reflects your wants, needs, wishes, desires, hopes, and dreams. You want to build the life that you've always dreamed of. Have the job, have the situation in life, the experience, the love you've always dreamed of. And there's something already with this energy that makes me feel like you are closer than you or I might even think. It's so close. Not even that you've made a decision to want to move forward, and that the energies around you are shifting. And in past readings, I was talking about November and December being pivotal times for shifting and changing kind of your trajectory. This shows it. And the Six of Wands, specifically, I got a little tongue-tied, specifically is about good fortune, victory. But not just victory, but victory that you feel, that you can see, and that other people can see. Not that you need the validation of anyone else, but you will be, for some, being patted on the back for your effort. Like, I don't know why I'm getting the image of like a couple of people hang out, like you around with friends, and they're like, got their hand on your shoulder, and they're like, good job. And they're like patting you on the back and giving you hugs and like, just good job. You did, way to go. I don't know what you would say to your friends. I know it sounds super corny the way that I'm saying it, because I would say it a different way, but I don't think it's appropriate for YouTube. But you get what I'm saying. Like, it's just like, you really ate that. You really put your foot in it. You really did what you needed to do. You really stood on business to get what you needed done, and you did it. You did it. That anyways, we'll keep going. Tell me what else the masculine is feeling. So then we have, interesting. So then we have the High Priestess in reverse. So it's intuition. So, okay. I don't think that the divine masculine, sorry, I meant to show you the High Priestess card. I don't know if I did, but let me just show you. That's the High Priestess card. So High Priestess in reverse. The High Priestess upright is about trusting intrinsically in your intuition, moving on it, speaking on it, living it, embodying it, really being connected with the divine. With these good cards next to it, and then the High Priestess in reverse, this might be, my eyes got drawn to this, the mystery card, the unknown, you're not sure. This is making me feel like you're choosing to move forward. It will be rewarding. If you are really moving towards what you really want, and you're putting true effort into healing yourself and loving yourself, and that puts you in alignment for the things that you want, you will be victorious. And then you'll start, almost in this small way, maybe you're not someone who really believes that you're like sensitive intuitively. Maybe it's internal. Like, maybe you don't talk to people about how you knew that this would always come to pass, that you knew that that job would be yours, that you knew that the person that you were thinking about was meant to be with you together, or you always knew that you were going to travel to this country, and then you did those things. Maybe you don't necessarily share that with a lot of people. So it might be something you're keeping close, the card that you're keeping close to your chest. But I'm hearing like It says silent intuition, but it's not that you're not talking about it, but you're not making a big deal about it. Now, if it was happening to me, I would be like, "Oh my God, I said this thing, and I saw this thing, and I did the cards, and like a week later, it happened. I need to tell my friends. I can't keep that shit inside. I gotta tell my friends." But maybe with this masculine, they're thinking to themselves, "Okay, I was unsure. I didn't understand. I was a little bit nervous. I didn't know what to do." But I trusted the process. I decided I was done with the old chapter, with my old me, with how I used to be. I really want to change. I really want to do something that's going to make me feel good about myself. And when they start doing things that feel good about yourself, then you started winning in whatever way that means for you. And maybe you saw you were going to get that job. Maybe you saw you were going to end up being with the person that you felt what you were meant to be with. Maybe you got to travel. Maybe you got that apartment that you saw envisioned in your mind. And you're like, okay, I'm paying attention now. Maybe I'm not going to be super vocal about it, but I'm paying attention now. I'm understanding what this might all mean. Maybe, I just heard this too, maybe you believe in intuition when it's other people, but maybe you didn't realize that you had it yourself. Baby, you have it yourself. I'm just saying. Let's get some more. 3 of Cups. This is reconciliation energy, reunion, reconnection. Again, this energy right here, where I'm talking about you made a decision to move forward, to want to change. And you can see that you could do this. People are patting you on the back. Celebratory dinners. And maybe you're just starting to really understand, like I said, maybe you felt people had intuition or have intuition, but you didn't really think that you do, but you do. Because you could see this all coming together. The celebration. This is a celebration card. And that's a celebration card. Reunion, reconnection. Maybe this is uniting with a new love, or reuniting with a love that was, wasn't successful at the beginning. Like, life happens. Time, distance, age, wrong timing, whatever it is, coming together again with someone that you love. Then we have 9 of Wands in reverse. Sorry if it's not focusing. 9 of Wands in reverse. 9 of Wands is, to me, the end of having to feel like you've got to push forward. You always got to persevere. You always have to run yourself ragged. That's how I feel right now with this card. That overflow of hard effort, feeling beaten, worn, tired, and still having to persevere. That I feel like that stuff is starting to dissipate, because a lot of it was held up in, maybe a low self-worth, or like jumping from one relationship to another, like, or jumping from one job to another, or one friend group to another, or you've had a falling out with a family member, so you just, link up with another one. All that really hard extra effort is unneeded. It's unnecessary now. You can leave that behind. You can drop those burdens. Can I get some more information on the Wheel of Fortune? More information on the Wheel of Fortune. Well, we've got a couple cards, so we'll take those. So the first one is Hierophant. So Hierophant comes in as, it's a kind of a teacher energy, but it also is the energy of structure, the structure in relationships. Now, when I say relationships, it doesn't always have to be romantic, but I do feel like it is. But I will explain it for all. Structure in a relationship, a solid job. You want to change your life, you want a solid job. If you are wanting to pursue a new relationship, this is moving forward positively to connect with a new relationship, to lock it in, to be solid, because it's going to be for the long haul. This is traditional long haul energy. This is not someone that you're going to have a fling with, that you have like tepid kind of passion for. This is someone that is like soul deep kind of connection, and you're in it for the long haul. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so the Six of Wands is defined by the Star card. We had this earlier today with the Divine Masculine, and here it is again, Divine Masculine. Divine Masculine, you either have strong Aquarius placement in your chart, whether it's Sun, Moon, Rising, or Stellium. Maybe you particularly pay attention to your Mars, Venus, or Mercury, or you're connected in some way to an Aquarius. But the Aquarius card under this victory is being happy, being successful, being lauded for your efforts and ability to see it through to the end with star energy. Hopes, dreams, wishes, desires, dreams, Aquarius. So there is celebration, completion, winning, victory, happiness with this Aquarian energy. And the other card we have is Page of Coins. Oh, okay. The Page of Coins energy is what I like to call the eternal student. It is very, very earth energy. And so with this High Priestess in reverse, with this kind of young earth energy, this makes me think if this is a love relationship, you masculines are likely the younger one in the relationship. And if you are just starting to dabble, just starting to realize that, yes, other people have intuition, but you have it too, you're at the beginning of that journey of understanding. You want groundedness in it, because I feel like for you masculines or this is resonating with, you're very grounded people. You know, you like to have some evidence. You like to have some study done. You like to have something that shows or confirms the things that you feel and seeing real world evidence. So there's going to be lots of like study or research done, as well as really truly believing that other people have intuition, but you do too. Okay, so let's see. Three of Cups. Three of Cups energy. Three of Cups energy, and then we have the Empress. So that is just nurturing, kind, warm. Underneath Three of Cups is reconnection, reconciliation, reunion with an energy that is supportive, kind, warm, structured, passionate, intuitive, very just soft energy, but also knowing self-worth. They really, this is really beautiful, because this makes me think that this is the Hierophant, and this over here makes me, and I didn't even realize it. Oh my gosh, I'm just realizing right now that the Hierophant and the High Priestess are here together in this reading. When Hierophant and the High Priestess, which is High Priest and High Priestess, it is a divine pairing. So this means that if this is love for you, masculines, this means that this love that you are reconnecting with or connecting with, this wonderful, warm, kind, supportive, intuitive energy, is a divine connection. This means you can use terms, if you're comfortable with it, terms like soulmate, terms like twin flame, connected throughout the cosmos by the red thread of fate, that you will find each other every lifetime. And if all of that is too much of labeling for you, then this is just a love that was meant to find you, meant to exist with you, to grow with you. And then last card for this reading is the Death card under the Nine of Wands in reverse. Now, don't be afraid of the Death card for those who are new to tarot. I'm going to put this down for just a second. The death card isn't about literal death, it is about rebirth. It's about transformation. It's about metamorphosis. The best example I can think of for the death card is literally the cycle of the caterpillar to the butterfly. The caterpillar is a cute little squidgy like insect that lives its life on the ground, on the trees, and then one day it decides it's time for a change. And it wraps itself up and it takes the time it needs to form itself into the butterfly. And how that happens is a little bit messy. Scientifically, it's a little messy, but that's necessary. There is no change without challenge. There's no reward without risk. And so this little bug, this little insect, has decided to take the chance to go through this kind of messy transformation and emerge as this new being that can take to the sky, a version of itself that it could never imagine it could be, because it spent all of its life with its little legs and belly on the ground. But now it's in the sky. It is a rebirth into a 2.0 version of ourselves. And so when we go from the Nine of Wands in reverse, Nine of Wands is about like the wounded soldier, that energy of persevering when you're tired, when you're in pain, when putting in all the extra effort and carrying that burden, basically a type of burden, not a literal burden, but the burden of responsibility, of trying to, I just heard right now, trying to take on the emotional responsibility of everyone's emotional states. Like you're constantly trying to balance and carry the weight of making sure everyone's happy. But once you lay down that burden, that emotional burden, where you don't have to do that anymore because you're focusing on making sure that you're okay and that you're healed and that you realize who you are, who you've always been, who you want to be, where you want to be, who you want to be, with what life you want to be, and start moving towards that in a happy, healthy, with defined boundaries, you put yourself in alignment. That's a type of transformation. When people, for example, if you've changed something in your life, you can pick whatever it is. You change it and people are like, oh, you don't do that anymore? That's weird. That's not like you. Are you sure you don't do that? Okay. That just is not like you. That is transformation. You are changing who you are, not for other people, but for yourself. And those who accept and celebrate will come with you. Those that won't will stay behind. When I say that, I mean those that want to transform with you will be butterflies with you. And those that want to stay a caterpillar, when they see you going into that cocoon, will just stay caterpillars. That's not bad. They're just not ready. Or they're not willing. The death card is about the necessary endings of old things, old chapters, old relationships, old jobs, old communities, old friendship groups that refuse to change when you are so desperate for a better life. Sometimes it's okay. You've got to leave some people behind, and that's not bad. It's just how life is. People change, people move, people grow. Don't let anybody steal your shine, and don't let anybody hold you back from being who you authentically want to be. So that is the reading that I have for you today. Technically, it is Sunday, November 16th. It's 1:06 a.m. I'm going to go ahead and just post it as is. Usually I try to edit it to make sure that I didn't sneeze, there wasn't a knock at the door, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and post it as is, because sometimes those late night reads just need to be as is. So if you like the way I read, and you like the way, my je ne sais quoi, please consider sharing, subscribing. I really appreciate it. I'm a very small channel, but I would like to grow my community to help reach people who maybe want to hear these stories and share in this energy. And also, if this, clarified or confirmed or validated you in any ways, just a heart in the comment section would be wonderful. And with that, this is Rabbit and Moon Tarot. My name is Angel, and I will see you at the next read.